guys, welcome to my channel. My name is ReadingBear and I hope you are ready for some more stories. And today, we'll take a look at some new IDontWorkHereLady content. If you enjoyed my content, please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and post some bear emojis in the comment. And now, let's dive right into the stories.
The first story is titled, Actually, I'm the Instructor, but thanks for the sexism. So I'm a self-defense instructor. Last year around this time, I had to teach a giant class for a health insurance company on their retreat. Fine by me, I get bank, but I needed 3 helpers as this was going to be 50 people and only an hour and a half to teach. So I rounded up my helper, my friend, and my husband. All male. I'm female, FYI. I trained them for a week as best I could so they could help out. As an aside, the first half hour I teach profiling and keeping yourself safe using your brains. Well, we get there and my team is setting up while I speak to the event organizer. While my team starts pairing people up, the confused CEO comes up to them. CC, hey, so this is really cool. I want to hype everyone for it. What does the talking portion entail? Friend shrugged. Husband, oh, it's basically profiling and keeping yourself safe using your street smarts. CC, oh, cool. Profiling. Where did you learn that? Friends try not to laugh. Husband, oh, I don't teach it. She does, points at me. CC looks more confused, then has a realization. Oh, so she teaches profiling, and you teach the hands-on martial arts stuff. I was wondering why she was here. Husband try not to laugh. Why is that? CC, oh, because she's rather big. I'm 6'1" and 180 pounds, mostly muscle. I didn't think she was going to be playing the victim. Wouldn't be very realistic. I thought she was your coordinator or secretary or something. My friends shook their heads and walked off. Instead of correcting him, my hubs walked away and kept an eye on him. As class started and proceeded into the hands-on training, the look of realization and then shame had my hubs and I laughing all the way home. Edits, all right, maybe I should have labeled it, hey, I work here, but I don't do that. That is the sort of vein I was going with, as I had just read a delightful post on this subreddit which was the same-ish. Also, I heard this story as we were driving home from my husband's perspective. I was setting up with the coordinator at the time and had no idea. I went to uni for criminal justice. I teach what my mentor and now business partner taught me. If you're interested, I suggest reading his book that has most of it in it. It's called Predators: Who They Are and How to Stop Them by Greg Cooper. For those that missed it, I've been in some type of martial arts since the 4th grade. I was bullied a lot for my size. I started in Taekwondo, then I was in Karate, MMA, Muay Thai, then Krav Maga. Now I teach a bastardization of all those things. I put my height and weight because I believe it's context that is needed. I'm not normal looking and I think that had a lot to do with it. Also, I'm not upset with the guy. After he gave us brilliant ratings and asked us back next year. He's a cool dude, we just thought it was humorous. But perhaps I came across as angry in the title. For that I apologize. Yes, an hour and a half isn't enough time for anything really. That's why I taught the first portion, because your brain is your best weapon, and the self-defense stuff is kinda like tips and tricks. I start every class by telling them, even if I had years to teach them, I couldn't ready them for every scenario. But it gives people, especially women, confidence and some much-needed info. So cheers. As for the people in the comments who are bagging on what I do, bagging on the fact that I'm a tall woman, and they're oh so scared, duck off. It seems like you enjoy the incel or trolling lifestyle, and congrats on that. But also, no, I don't have to defend what I do or who I am to anyone, especially on the internet. I came to post a story and I did so, but enjoyed being a horrible human. Hope that works out for ya. The next story is titled, Overbearing Karen Thinks I Work in a Doctor's Office and Tries to Get Me to Violate HIPAA, then threatens to have me fired when I don't. So as part of my actual job, my company sends me to different clinics to audit their invoices to ensure insurance companies aren't getting scammed for unnecessary or unperformed patient procedures. It happens more than you know. Normally, when I'm at a clinic, they'll stick me in an unused office or a cubicle so I'm out of sight and don't interfere with their normal operations. However, yesterday during a clinic visit, they didn't have anywhere to put me except the front desk with the receptionist. This wasn't a problem for me since it does happen on occasion, and I'm just there to get the job done and head out. So I'm sitting there in the front office desk looking over the clinic's documents when the receptionist gets called back to assist with a patient. After a few minutes, I hear someone cough slightly to the right of me and look up. I'll call her Karen because she had the haircut and the attitude. Karen, in a rude voice. I've been standing here for the past couple of minutes, and you've yet to acknowledge me. You should be ashamed of yourself. Is this how this clinic is run? Me? I'm sorry, ma'am. The receptionist just stepped out for a moment. She'll be back soon. I can't help you as I don't work here. She looks me up and down like she's judging how I'm dressed. I should mention that I'm dressed in standard business attire. Blazer, shirt, tie, and black slacks with my company logo and name tag hanging from a lanyard. Karen, how stupid do you think I am? You're sitting at the front desk of a clinic dressed like that and you don't work here. I should file a complaint against you with your boss. Me? Listen, ma'am, I've already told you I don't work here. Take it or leave it, but I work for a company name and hold up my badge. Now if you'll excuse me, I have to get back to my work and ignore her. Karen, now infuriated, how dare you? Do you know who I am? My husband works with the owner of this clinic, and he'll be hearing about your poor customer service skills. Me, still looking at documents. Good for him. I repeat, I don't work here. Wait for the receptionist. Karen tries to change tactics and fake smiles at me. Look, I'm sure you're busy, so I won't take much of your time. All I need to know is my daughter-in-law's next OB appointment. Her name is Name. It shouldn't take you too long to find her in your calendar. I just need to know what time it is so I can be here to meet her. Me, now looking at her. Are you deaf? I've already told you I don't work here, and even if I did, you're asking me to violate HIPAA laws. Do you know how serious that is? You need to ask her directly if she's actually willing to have you with her, though I doubt it. Karen, you don't know what you're talking about. That idiot should have told me when she was scheduling her first ultrasound. That's my grandchild in there and I need to be here to see him. Now tell me when her appointment is, otherwise I'll have you fired. Me? You need help, lady. You need to leave now before I have someone call security. Karen, you're threatening me? The doctor and receptionist hear the loud commotion and come out to the front desk. Doctor, what's going on here? Me? This woman doesn't understand that I don't work for you, and she's trying to find out her in-law's appointment. Karen, now panicking, your receptionist, pointing at me, has been useless and won't give me the information I'm asked for. He needs to be fired. Receptionist, to Karen, he doesn't work here. Doctor, I'll take care of this. And she intercoms the security office. Hi, we need a guard to come to office 123 to escort someone out. She's disturbing one of our vendors and says, thank you. Once they confirm, someone will be here shortly. Once Karen realizes she's about to be escorted out, I'm not leaving. I have a right to know how my grandson is doing. I have a right. She starts shouting profanities at us for a couple of minutes when a burly security guard arrives and tells her to leave, otherwise he'll call the police on her for trespassing. She refuses, so he grabs her by the arm and drags her screaming out of the office. That was the last I saw of her, but the receptionist called the daughter-in-law to inform her what just happened. After the call, the receptionist laughs and tells me that the in-law didn't want the woman anywhere near her and her baby-to-be. It seems her and her husband are no contact, which explained part of the craziness. The next story is titled, Kid Sick at Self-Checkout. Quick note, I am merely the witness in this short story. Cast, me as me. GM equals good mom. SK equals sick kid. RM equals rich man. About 14 years ago, now I was working at my local Walmart, put in charge of watching the self-checkout on a slow day. I will admit that back then I was inexperienced with people and lazy, but my few months there had taught me a lot about how nasty folk can get. GM comes rushing to the self-checkout with SK in her cart. He does not look well, and I hear him saying as they come up, I don't feel good, mom. I want to go home. GM clearly understands that her kid has become sicker since they came in and is trying to rush to get him home now. She is trying to soothe him while simultaneously fumbling with groceries and bare essentials like soup and boxes of tissues. I know, sweetie, I'm sorry, mommy is going as fast as she can. Well, along comes RM. He has on what has to be the most expensive jacket I have ever seen. Full business, gold watch, tie, pricey shoes, perfect haircut, fit, carrying a lot of coffee. Everything about him makes me glad this is self-checkout, because my track record with rich folk treating me bad here is almost 100%. He begins checking out directly across from GM and SK is back facing them. Suddenly SK starts to squirm and look around wildly. Mom. Mom, I need the restroom. GM looks up from the checkout and sees SK is not going to make it through her checkout. She practically flies around the cart, picks him up, and he projectile vomits across the self-checkout all over RM expensive jacket. My jaw drops. It can't be real. As I begin to react, I am watching RM. He drops his coffee and is stunned for a moment when something I was not ready for happens. He turns around, quickly removing the jacket, dumps it on the floor and walks quickly over to GM and SK kneeling because they are now on the ground, GM comforting her crying child with her eyes practically begging for mercy at this point. RM, is he okay? I walk up with towels, already on the radio for cleanup, and hand in one. He uses it to help clean up GM. GM, he might have the stomach flu. I just needed to pick up some things to take care of him. I'm so sorry. RM, it's okay. Let's get him cleaned up. GM seems to finally really see the man and how he is dressed for the first time. And what happened to him? Oh my God. You work here? RM, wiping vomit off her back while I stare on the floor. No ma'am. Just a dad myself. Hate to see a kid not feeling well. GM was so embarrassed that she didn't really speak again, other than a meager thank you as we finished cleaning up, and RM helped her finish checking out personally. I helped him put his certainly ruined jacket in a garbage bag to take home, and he checked out as well. I asked him if there was anything else I could do for him, and RM politely declined and left the store. I will never forget how that man reacted that day. For all his obvious wealth, he was his last priority at that moment, even as a victim himself. He didn't complain about the mess, or that he might get the kid's flu, or his ruined jacket, nothing. And he certainly did more to help than me, the actual employee. I took this lesson to heart for all future interactions with people, and it has made a tremendous difference as I became a father myself. Thanks for reading. The next story is titled, Would I Be Naked If I Worked Here? I went clothes shopping today. The dressing room had a 6-item limit, and I had more than 6 things to try on, so left some with the dressing room clerk at the desk. I folded up the things I tried on that I wasn't buying and brought them to the clerk and exchanged them for new items. As I was doing this, a woman tapped me on the shoulder saying, Hey, carry these in here please. I guess assuming I was a clerk too. I don't work here. Sure you do. I just saw you folding clothes. I was returning those items. I'm in a hurry here. Excuse me. And I walked off because I didn't have time to get into it with her and try on everything I needed to. Hey, she followed me. Thankfully, the desk clerk saw her and went over to help her, so she left me be. I went into the changing room, put on an outfit, and stepped out to see it in the full-length mirror. Bear in mind, I had changed my clothes at this point. I don't know how this did make it clear that I was shopping. But she asked, Can you get this for me in a smaller size? I pretended to not hear her and rushed back into my dressing room to avoid the confrontation. Apparently, I was in such a hurry that I did not properly latch the door. Because, sliding the dress over my head, tits flopped out in the breeze. This woman follows after me and opens the door. I take the dress off and see her staring mouth agape, and she just says, You really don't work here, do you? Stunned, but mostly irritated, I replied, Would I be naked if I worked here? She walked away. I shut the door and finished up. When I came out to give my next round of items to the clerk, the woman was waiting for me. She apologized over and over and said she'd been on autopilot all day. I told her not to worry about it, and I hoped she enjoyed the show. I wonder what the clerk thought happened. The next story is titled, Karen Sees Me Feeding My Newborn and Still Demands I Help Her Because Her Time Is Too Valuable. I went to Walmart today with my wife and newborn, looking for a bike for our daughter. To our surprise, the store was not very crowded, but it was still a bit busy, as you can all imagine, due to the holiday season. We arrived at the bike racks, and my wife had the urge to go use the bathroom, so I stayed behind trying to determine which one was more fitting for my daughter. Suddenly, the newborn wakes up crying, and I start scrambling to prepare his bottle, as it was time to feed. As good of a father as I believe I am, I could not find a ducking thing in that diaper bag, so the chaos was becoming real very fast. Enter Karen. Equipped with high heels, sunglasses, a hat worthy of the Kentucky Derby, and a dress straight out of a romantic scene from an 80s movie. Excuse me, help me get this bike down. Excuse me. I knew she could not be talking to me because I was clearly struggling to open a zipper on a bag while the deafening screams of my baby were driving everyone else away. Excuse me, do you speak English? I took a peek over my shoulder, and wouldn't you know it, Karen was staring directly at me. Are you going to help me? I kept ignoring her and managed to get what I needed out of the bag while my son made his best attempt to break every glass in the store with his high-pitched screams. At that exact moment, my wife showed up and somehow I managed no to curse this lady out. In fact, I politely replied, "Can you give me a moment, please?" I finished preparing the bottle while my wife held the baby, handed my wife the bottle to feed our son, and I turned and faced evil Karen. K, are you gonna help me? M, did you realize I was busy with a baby? K, I don't have all the time in the world to chit-chat. Are you helping me or not? M, which bike do you want? K, that one right up there. She pointed at the exact one I had eyeballed when I first arrived. So I calmly pulled the rack forward, took the bike down and started walking, bike in hand, towards my wife. K, you can just leave it right there. M, oh, I didn't get this down for you. I got this down for me. I'm buying this one. Learn some ducking manners, you old idiot. And take your ducking shades off. It's 7:30 at night. K, how dare you? My wife busted out laughing so hard that the baby started crying again, but this time I did mind the noise, as it was blocking Karen's mumbling and swearing as we walked away with our daughter's new bike. The next story is titled, "Can you not tug on that? You're awfully close to my penis." Oh, so I had a fun one the day after Christmas. Got lots of gift cards, so I went to a store that has an eye for a logo because I wanted to try to get a pair of AirPods. Probably my fault for daring the after Christmas crowd. I keep my badge for work on a lanyard that I use a keychain / loop to attach to my pants since I have a real habit of misplacing it. Anyway, I was looking for something sweet after not getting my AirPods since they were sold out, and this crabby old idiot came waddling down the cookie aisle. I at the time had my actually headphones in listening to Being Scared, awesome YouTube channel for fans of horror. She'll be COB for obvious reasons. Cobb snaps fingers, "Hey you." Me, internal screaming, while pausing at a good part of the store, "Yes ma'am." Cobb, where is the pop? Oh, this is an obvious snowbird, FYI. I live in Arizona, and when these types come down here for winter, it's like a haven for IDO scenarios. Me, I think it's 2 aisles over, but I'm not sure as I don't work here. Have a nice day though. As I unpause and start to walk away, I feel my headphones get ripped from my ear, which caused my phone to fall out of my hoodie pocket with them. I stared at them for a few seconds, deciding how to react. Cobb, serves you right, you little brat. You young people never respect your elders. How dare you turn your back to me? Me, first of all, I'm 35. Second of all, for the second time now, I don't work here, so I'm not someone who is required to put up with any of your crap. And even if I did work here, that's no way to treat people. If this is the kind of person you are, I can only imagine what your kids are like. It's parents like you that raise entitled little a-holes that's the real trouble with today's youth. Don't touch me again. She looked like a fish, trying to inhale as much water as she could with how her mouth was humming gape. As I turn to walk away, I feel a strong tug on my lanyard that is literally hanging down by my penis. Me, can you not touch that? You're really close to my penis. This gets the attention of a nearby manager. Manager, what's going on over here? Cobb, this employee of yours wouldn't help me and swore at me. Me, I'm sorry, Miss Manager, but there's probably someone with a very large butterfly net looking for this woman who has just physically assaulted me twice, and she'd also tried to sexually assault me once. Cobb, see, he's such a smart ass and I would do no such thing. Me, ma'am, you still haven't released your hold of my lanyard that again for the second time is right next to my special place, and there's cameras all over this section that just recorded you ripping my headphones out, causing my phone to fall to the floor. Manager looks at her, looks at me, and looks at my lanyard that she still hasn't released yet. Manager, ma'am, he doesn't work here. He's wearing another company's name on his lanyard and a t-shirt that says Bullet Club on it. How could you possibly think he works here? I can also clearly see you're holding him by a lanyard that is hanging down by his privates. Can you let him go, or do I call security? He'd also be well within his rights to physically defend himself at this point. Cobb, well, I have never. Me, I'm sure that's not true. Can you let go now, please? She finally lets go and is trespassed from the store. The manager apologized. I told her not to worry as it wasn't even close to her fault. I have still yet to find my AirPods, maybe after New Year's. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and post some bear emojis in the comments.